Okay, everyone, listen up. It's a new episode of Raleigh's Roast, and I am here with my favorite coffee mug, which is yellow. And I'm here with my new friend, Nicole Stone. Hey, Nicole, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Where are you from?
I am from Minnesota, and I currently reside in North Dakota.
North Dakota. What part of North Dakota?
Fargo, so eastern part.
Okay, I've been to Fargo. I have some of my hardest stories about playing music happened in North Dakota. How does that feel to be a part of that?
Tell me one. Share one with me.
I'll do a quick one. I drove 28 hours with my band to play on a Tuesday night in Minot, North Dakota, to one person who didn't clap for 4 hours straight.
Wow, one person.
Yeah, that, and they didn't even. They looked at us the whole time like.
So,
just looked.
What venue? Like, I'm not sure I would know what it is, but
it was called the Rocking Horse. Nothing against the Rocking Horse. It's not you, it's me. But driving 28 hours to get there to play for one person who didn't clap was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And then I woke up the next day like, should I quit? But
it makes a great story though.
Here we go. How did we find each other? Because I think I may have reached out to you on Instagram. I think I may have found you through a hashtag or something.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
I think I may have. And then I saw your profile. And for those of you that don't know, and I want you to tell this, but you have a lot of pictures of fish.
Yes, I do.
So my first question for you, for all of the people who watch this show, and I feel like country fans, what do you do? Like, what is it exactly that you do?
So that's a very complex question just because of it's weird to explain, but I actually run my own little media business where I work with the outdoor industry and people not in the industry. And I, do websites, do SEO, blogging, those types of things. And then while I was doing that, I had to test a lot of this stuff on my own platforms. And so what I do with my free time is I fish all the time. And
wow.
So then I built up my own following across all the platforms. And then I ended up getting fishing sponsorships and work in the fishing world. So now part of my income is all fishing related. And part of it is really doing media for outdoor companies. And that's how I make my income.
Okay. So you became known for Nicole Stone Outdoors. How did that happen? And then because there's a lot of I don't know if you get a lot of DMs, but I feel like what could be valuable to people would be how you had a a dream, so many people DM me with a dream, right? And then they wonder how did this become a reality for you, or how did you even start,
Yeah. Right. That's a great question. So I get that a lot. A lot of people are like, how do I get in the industry, or anything from how do I get a basic gear sponsorship to how do I make money in the outdoors? That you probably get very similar, array of questions with the music industry. And so
Sure.
For me, it was really, I was an atmospheric scientist and I'd always loved the outdoors and kind of dreamed of working for myself someday. And then I decided one day, I'm kind of a crazy person at times, and I woke up from my career and I'm like, I'm just going to quit and go all in and give it a shot, like a lot of people do, not knowing exactly what I was getting into. And then, so I started teaching myself basic things I knew outdoor companies needed, search engine, blog posts, marketing related things, right? Social media, blog posts, websites, stuff that I could at least provide as a service for them right away as I built up my name and my information and just started posting about fishing and the outdoors and trying to be on every media opportunity I could. And eventually, as it took a while, but I got enough skill set and worked with enough people that I was able to kind of make it a living. And so for people that ask me that, I always say, you have to start. You can't edit a blank slate, and you learn a lot as you go.
Yeah, that makes me think of, I was a personal trainer for a year, and I quit my job not knowing how I was going to pay my bills. And so I was like, that was a crazy experience. I know what you're talking about. But okay, why fish? And what's your first two questions? Why fish? Secondly, what's your first memory of fishing?
So I grew up on a dairy farm, obviously in the upper Midwest. And so a really small town. We lived like the olden days in some ways.
In Minnesota?
Yep, in Minnesota.
Okay.
And so a lot of fishing and hunting and stuff was just part of my life. And then so as I got older and went to college and stuff, I always kept doing those things because it's all I knew. It was my hobby growing up. And then when I had to come up with like social media content, I tried to be like a lifestyle social media person. And I realized like I only do two things. I sit in front of my computer in sweats and I go fishing. And so it like quickly became like a fishing page, like just naturally, because that was all I was doing. And then my first fishing memory was actually just my parents took me out of school when I was like 6 years old. And then, so kindergarten roughly, and they took me sucker fishing on the local riverbank. And I was hooked, literally.
Yeah.
One, right?
Oh, I see what you did there. That's okay. My first fishing memory, I had a Snoopy pole that my dad got me, and it's like a half-sized fishing pole. And I used to catch like 100 bluegill a day, and that's all I did. We would fish up in Michigan where like my family would vacation. And so I have like good memories of me and my dad and my brother fishing. What's the biggest fish you've ever caught? I would love to know this.
So the biggest fish out of all species would be a sturgeon, and that was 59 inches. So that's a beast of a fish. We are very lucky we can catch.
How many feet is
Minnesota.
that? Is that 5 feet?
Not quite, but almost. So
60 inches is 5 feet, right?
Yep. So
yeah.
we're like close to that mark, but not quite. And yeah, so that was my biggest fish between all species. But obviously, you know, when you're an angler, like a lot of people are like, sturgeon, who cares? Like, what's your biggest walleye? So my biggest walleye is about 30 inches. So, gosh, I think my biggest walleye is I've never caught a walleye. So I'm doing really good. Do you guys have them down there? Much of them? I'm not aware.
No, we have deer, and you can't really fish for deer though.
No.
No, you know, I haven't been fishing in a long time. Like I should go now that we're quarantined because I could. I mean, I have time now. I haven't had much time to do much of anything since music has taken over most of my life. But I want to know what's the weirdest thing you've ever caught. Because one time with my Snoopy pole off the edge of a pier, I dropped it in and I brought up a puffer fish with a crab in its claw, or a crab and a puffer fish at the same time, and the crab was holding on to the fish.
That's crazy.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever caught.
And where did you grow up?
That was in Florida.
I'm like, is there puffer fish in Kentucky?
No, she's like, you're lying. She's like, do I tell him he's a liar? No, it was on vacation in Florida. It was on vacation in Florida. Yeah. What's the weirdest thing you've ever caught?
So I was filming a Gander Outdoors series with one of my best friends up in northern Manitoba, and they had the camera rolling. And I'm like, we're just jigging for a walleye through a little tiny 8-inch ice hole, and I hook something, and I'm like I'm putting on a show for the camera. This is big, Anna. This is big. Like, you have to help me get it up. And as I'm like reeling this fish up, and it's, you know, we're filming, and I can't get it through the hole. And she looks at me and she's like, Nicole, you caught a fishing rod.
What?
Okay. Yeah, I was like $100 tuned up custom fishing rod. So anybody that like is.
Did you keep it?
Yeah, we still have it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was like I made $100. That was what I felt like. I'm like, wow, now the lakes are giving back to me. Like it's coming full
Yes,
circle.
thank you, lake gods.
Yeah.
Do you have any like horror stories? Like what's the funniest fishing story or like something crazy that happened?
Oh man, this would take a while
There's
to think
probably
about.
a few.
I don't know. A horror fishing story. Not that I can think of right now. Let's hear yours.
Like a hook. Well, I don't have a huge one. I just have one where my cousin got through his lip, a hook through his lip.
Ow.
But that's not, you got to understand, us folk down here, we aren't professionals. So
It's just another day.
it's just another, I mean,
That happens 3 times a week.
a hook in the mouth, you know.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know that I can't think of any like terrible experiences fishing yet. I guess my biggest thing it's not even close to that really though, is so I'm like tough on freshwater, but I tried saltwater fishing with my husband and I was so excited and we went to the Caribbean and went out on saltwater and I literally realized just because I can freshwater fish doesn't mean I can saltwater fish because I like threw up for a solid 3 hours straight and I didn't fish again for a solid month. So I'm like, you saltwater people, it's a whole nother world out on that water.
Do you have like advice for people that are trying to like do what you do? Like, what would you say to somebody that wants to like, they love fishing or the outdoors? I've got a couple friends who do similar things to you. Some of them hunt, but particularly somebody that like, you know, what would you say to your fans watching this, like that would like aspire to be Nicole Stone? How do they do it? What's some advice? How do I become Nicole Stone?
And catch fish, or just what does Nicole Stone do that we're trying to aspire to?
Nicole Stone outdoors. I mean, all things Nicole Stone. Like people probably DM you all the time, like, "Hey, I would love to do this." And do you have any advice? Like, what would you say?
So I think for like I look at this in 2 ways again, kind of coming back to our first question is a lot of people want to maybe grow their online following and look at opportunities doing different things. And then other people just want to know how to, catch more big fish, let's say. And so I always say when it comes to doing the opportunity thing, like I said, just start, always educate people. Like if you love fishing, you don't have to be an expert to share tips. Like there's people all over the spectrum that need help. So, if you're like just started fishing 2 years ago and you want to get, a name in the world of fishing, like start teaching people that are new tips that you're learning because you're close to them in that series, So like share tips, share photos that, there's a little bit of an Instagram algorithm game always going on, as we all know. But like if what you put behind your photos is real substance, you can really make an impact, and people like that and they follow you because they want to know, how you're growing in the industry or what you're doing to get attention. Are you blogging? Are you trying to do videos? Are you, interacting with your audience, which is the number one thing I recommend if you want to share the outdoors online. And then if you want to like just improve your fishing technique, I recommend just simply spending more time on the water and just fishing with people that are better than you. When you fish with people that are better than you, you tend to become better. And so like with anything, you are who you surround yourself with. And then when you put those two together, a lot of stuff can happen, but you just have to start and you have to act. Whatever hobby it is, hunting, golfing, whatever, you educate and inform and provide value. And then you put extra time into your hobby and good things can happen.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's really valuable for people. I think, starting is a big thing. Starting and consistency is a big thing.
100%.
So are you a fan of country music or just country things?
I love country music. I grew up listening to Shania Twain like every day of my life.
Oh, love it. Love it. My friend, this guy I know went on tour with her on her world tour last year and was her opening act. And it was just him and an acoustic guitar, and I was so jealous.
Who was it with her?
His name's Sebastian Baker, and he's from Europe, but he's more like, his music's kind of all, he's not country. Like, I don't think he would say he's country. He's like acoustic, folkish kind of, you know? But anyways, no, cool. Yeah, he was on tour with her all last. Who else are some of your favorites?
Oh, that's awesome. I'm really digging Maren Morris right now. Like, I'm very much like Girl Squad country.
Yeah.
So I love Maren. I love Maren Morris. That's been a favorite lately. You know, I've always been a big Eric Church fan. That's another.
As you should be.
You know, I'm just trying to think of who's really been on my radio that I'm just obsessed with. Brothers Osborne. I like Brothers Osborne. I love Old Dominion.
They're probably my favorite. Yeah.
Those are probably the people that I listen to the most. Thomas Rhett. I'm a huge Thomas Rhett fan. He's always always on my radio. Have you met these people? That's what I want to know. You've probably met a few of these along your journey.
So I opened for Maren. I've opened for Eric Church.
That's so cool. What was it like meeting Eric?
I didn't get to meet him. I didn't get to meet him. Eric's a big deal.
Yeah, he's huge.
I do get to write with a guy named Casey Beathard who wrote She Loves Me Like Jesus Does. He wrote what's the one what's daggone? I can't remember. Hell on the Heart.
Oh, that's that's a favorite.
He wrote Homeboy.
Wow.
So I get to, he wrote, on my EP, the song Who I Want to Be, I wrote that with him. But yeah, no. So I'm like awesome. An Eric Church, like all the way. And Brothers Osborne too. I opened up for Brothers Osborne, and then I'd never seen them live before. And I stayed and watched their show, and like literally they blew me away. There's been a couple times in my life where I was like blown away at a concert, and I went, man, I've got to do that for a living. Like, I'm going to do that. And it was the first time I saw Zac Brown Band when Uncaged came out, and like Sweet Annie, Goodbye in Her Eyes, all those songs were out. It was another time was when I saw John Mayer in concert in 2008.
Ooh.
And then the third time was Brothers Osborne. And I was like blown away. And I was like, there is no other thing I will do than this.
Well, that's outstanding. That's awesome. Well, those are amazing artists. And did you ever get to meet Maren? Because you said you opened for her once, right?
Briefly.
Yeah.
Briefly. They were doing some form of like backstage. She's kind of into some like yoga stuff. So I was like not trying to like bust up their yoga time.
Yeah.
They were burning some candle incense and doing some yoga. And I was like, what do I got to do? I was like, should I just jump in here and smoke a cigarette or something? What should I do?
I wouldn't know. Like, that's cool.
Here we are. I've never done yoga. And I'm 6'4", 240 pounds. And I don't know if that's my scene.
That's cool.
Wait, do you go to
concerts or anything? Yeah, I do occasionally, maybe one a year. I've been to some Eric Church concerts. Again, I've been to Old Dominion concerts because I love Old Dominion so much. I went to a Shania Twain concert, which made my life complete.
Ooh, that's amazing. Like when you're fishing, are you like listening to music, or is it like you need like quiet?
So when I'm filming anything for anyone or myself, obviously I never listen to music. Those days I'm just trying to not screw everything up. But when it's just me, like just a me day, I completely listen to music. Like I'm just going to take myself out on a date fishing. I'll just totally listen to country music, which is my favorite.
That's amazing. So you said you've been to concerts. Oh, listen, if I have a concert in Fargo or somewhere near there, let's make North Dakota my new favorite place. That'll be fun.
Yes. Is it on your schedule?
Well, as of right now, I don't know if there will be live music ever again. But
okay, you bring up a valid point.
let's just hope that this passes, and that you can bring your husband. I'll get you and your husband and your friends and whatever all in, but. Wait,
Woo-hoo.
what have you
And
been
I'll
doing
clap.
during the pandemic?
I'll
Yes,
clap
honestly.
after every song.
If you clap one time, are you there?
Can you still see me? Okay.
I can see you.
Yes,
Yeah,
can
I
you
was
hear
gonna
me?
say.
Okay, good.
Yeah, if you clap, it will automatically. If you clap one time, it will be better than my previous experience.
That's what I'm gonna do.
That's so easy. Wait, okay. So speaking of the pandemic, have you been like fishing and working more or less?
So I changed a lot of my work. So I had a lot of big trips planned. Like I worked with the province of Manitoba last year, Canada, and because they have some amazing fishing and that stuff, the borders closed and everything. So like a lot of my big trips have now completely just kind of like everyone's stuff gone as for the foreseeable future. And so like I've just tried to do more of my content and stuff locally into North Dakota and very western Minnesota. So I've been trying to be respectful of the situation. And I mean, when you're in a boat and you're fishing in the middle of the week, like you don't see anybody. So for me to drive a couple hours and fish and not see anybody isn't, that's typical. And then like I just do a lot more office work. So
yes.
Yeah.
Are you like okay, what's been your favorite? I like to play this game with people. This will be the last thing we do. What has been your favorite quarantine snack?
There's so many good options. I don't know. The hardest part
Top
about
three.
being home is you always want to eat everything. Banana bread lately.
Ooh.
I shouldn't, but it's so good. What about yours?
No. Well, it's gonna be banana bread when you send me some. Okay. So that's good. I've been a sucker. Let's see. I've been a sucker for. I just did an episode of this, but man, I'll like have a glass of bourbon and then like my guard is down and I'll like eat a whole box of Cheezits.
I've been there, I've been there. It's like suddenly you have a couple Malibus and the pizza's gone. What happened to it?
Well, as of today, exactly. As of today, it's Friday, so it's my day. I'm trying to just do one day a week where I drink and eat whatever I want. And so there might be a box of Cheezits in my future.
They're so addicting. When one of my best friends I do a lot of content with, me and her, like cheddar bunnies. Have you heard of that? It's like a
No.
It's like a knockoff of Cheez-Its. And we will just down a whole box every day on the ice because it's so fun to just, like when you start, you can't stop. So I totally get it.
Okay. Last question. Well, maybe not the last. Maybe it is. We'll see. What has been the best? Have you binge watched anything on Netflix? Best quarantine show?
I haven't. I've watched literally 0 shows. No, wait. I watched a World War II series on Adolf Hitler because I'm that kind of person. But
Ooh, let's talk about murder.
Well, maybe I don't know how detailed we want to go. What
was it about?
All about World War II. It's called Apocalypse, I believe, on the History Channel. Like I'm really into that historical stuff. I went to France just to like experience it in person. What about you?
So you have you not heard or seen about Tiger King?
I haven't watched it, but I've heard really good things.
Oh.
Was it great?
Well, it's crazy. But I feel like it's about this guy who like raises exotic tigers, and it's very entertaining. And it's like, do you think that I have an accent?
No, not bad. Maybe slightly. You probably think I have a super northern accent, don't you?
You got the Manitoba. You got the Toba thing.
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota. What's the place in Minnesota that they talk about? No, that's North Dakota. It's why not my not, isn't it?
Why not my? What does that mean though?
Have you heard of Minot, North Dakota?
Oh, of course. I've worked out there many times. But like, what did they mean when they say why not, why not?
I never figured it out. That was what I was going to ask you. What?
I don't know.
They always, like, so many people in North Dakota were like, why not my not? And I was always asking, what do you mean? Like, what does that mean? And no one really told me. So I was hoping you would, like, with all of your World War II knowledge, would be able to help.
Well, there was no World War II in Minot, so I don't know.
That's true, but they gotta listen. That's your next project is a documentary about why not, my not.
Nicole, that's actually pretty clever. Why not, my not?
Thank you very much. Oh, Monday nights. Why
Monday
not,
night,
my
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Actually, why not, my not's where the state fair is in North Dakota, right?
It is, yes. Maybe that's why. Why not have it in my
Maybe
house?
that's where it came from. Why not? Screw it. There's no real reason, but why not?
Why not? That's probably exactly what it is.
That's really good. Well, Nicole, thank you for having me. It's good. I'm glad that I got to know you, and thanks for chatting. And I hope people discover you from
Thank you.
this and see your content now. Because honestly, it's crazy to see. How tall are you?
5'7", just about.
Okay, well, you're a blonde girl that fishes and catches huge fish, and it's crazy, and it's entertaining. So everyone go follow Nicole Stone Outdoors as your handle, right?
Yes. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and my website, NicoleStoneOutdoors.com.
Oh, you do TikTok too?
Yes, I'm trying. It's not my thing, but I feel like it's the future.
I'm putting stuff on I'm putting stuff on TikTok, and I'm trying. It's just another. It's another thing.
It is.
It's just like so. There's so much to do already that it's like TikTok, and then apparently China steals your information or something. Who knows?
Yeah, and then you're like scrolling through it, and suddenly there's like 9-year-old girls, and you're like, what just happened?
Yep. Watch Nick's gonna have to edit that out. He's gonna be like, you can't say that about China. Anyways, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, everybody, this was Raleigh's Roast with Nicole Stone. See y'all.